Hello everyone, my name is Ofer and I'm the Director of Product Management for DSPM. In today's session, we're going to talk about data protection for the public cloud. We're going to start with discussing the challenges of the public cloud, the agility of it, the complexity of it, and the challenges that data security teams are facing when they're trying to figure out what type of information they have over there and how to protect that. Then we'll look a little bit into the Zscaler approach and how we decided to secure that data. We'll talk about that. Last, in order to help focus the discussion, we have run a survey within our customer and we picked the three top topics that came up as top of the agenda for our customers with regards to DSPM. And we'll be talking about these and walking you through a demo in DSPM showing how these use cases are resolved and how we help those teams with that. So first, data protection for the public cloud. So talking about the data that is stored in the cloud and why do we care about that? First, let's talk about the volume of the data. Looking at all of these companies that are either in the flow of digital transformation or have already completed that flow, the prediction goes that within the next year, we will be seeing over 150 or almost 200 billion terabytes of data that will be stored in the public cloud. This is a huge amount of data. And with that amount of data, you can see that the number one attack, the number one data breach that was reported last year, or the number one type of attack that we're seeing is attack on the cloud data. Now, with each of these attacks averaging about $4.5 million, and that's not just the cost or the liability, it's also the loss of public opinion and the trust of your customers. This brings data security of public cloud as one of the most interesting areas for the data security teams in 2024. Now, data applications and services are touching every aspect on the enterprise today, with cloud services that are ranging from SaaS to full IaaS. We're seeing more and more adoption everywhere. Now, public cloud is complex and it is super agile, which means that the customer's data could be pretty much everywhere, and those applications or services that they are subscribed to are being provisioned by developers, by business owners, not necessarily going through the data security side of things, which makes those teams struggle with even the simplest question, trying to understand what types of data do they have in the public cloud, where is this data stored, who has access to this type of information, what are the risks associated with my data in the cloud. And even those simplest questions in the agile manner of the public cloud are hard to answer. Now, within time, that industry has moved from single point solutions that were first focused at on-premise and channels like web DLP, like email DLP, etc., and evolved towards the public cloud. CSPM or CNAPP solutions, SSPM solutions that are looking into SaaS applications, CASB that is looking into some of the aspects, and many more. The challenge to the customers with all of these single point solutions or small frameworks is that most of them were built as a dedicated solution and then gradually emerged through that. That brings two challenges to the data security team. Number one, your single point solutions are giving you one aspect of the data. You only see what they are interested in. If you're trying to get the overall insights and understand the context of that specific issue within your enterprise, you will not see that. You will see that within the context of just your email or just your web or just your CASB, but understanding data lineage within the organization, understanding the importance of these files, that is not something that these framework can provide. The other aspect of that is that DLP is complicated. Not just the public cloud is complex, but defining and classifying your data is something that takes time and takes a lot of effort until you are reaching a point where you trust the system, where you trust the information that it delivers. Now, having to do that again and again through multiple different products, each of them speaking a different data classification language, and maintaining that over time is a huge challenge to the data security teams, and something that none of the customers that we were talking to was happy or willing to go through again. So what is the Zscaler approach to this type of challenge? In Zscaler, we had the advantage of running billions and billions of web transactions through our system on a daily basis. Through that, we evolved our DLP solution in a way that it can train and use AI and machine learning algorithms in order to improve our accuracy over such an enormous volume that almost no other company out there in the world can compete with that and get to the same level of accuracy and improvement over time. So data classification is done inside Zscaler either by automatic AI-based algorithms, but also through more advanced classification methods like EDM, IDM, running your own custom DLP engines and other methods that allow you to not only use our predefined abilities, but also tune them, improve them, and adjust them to your needs as an organization. And then Zscaler took these types of abilities and made sure that we use them all across our portfolio, meaning you define your DLP once, you define what you care about, what you would like to classify, and we will go and we will look for that, and we will provide you with the same set of accuracy, actions, and protection across all of your channels with web, email, endpoint, mobile, CASB, and the latest addition, securing your public cloud for data as well. Now, our approach says that by taking that extra step and expanding your existing DLP capabilities, we are reducing the challenges and the work to our customers. If you think about that, once you have defined your data classification once, we will take that, we will reuse that, and we'll leverage the trust that you've already gained in the system, which means that any additional area that we're covering is going to get the same level of accuracy that you've gotten used to. So with the SaaS, the web channels already covered by the other products, the infrastructure as a service or the public cloud, that's the last piece of the puzzle that was missing, and DSPM is going to leverage the DLP capabilities for Zscaler to close that gap and to allow for that extra protection for the data in your public clouds. So what is DSPM about? First thing, you need to go and connect our DSPM solution to your public cloud. And that is basically the last step that you need to take. From this point on, we take things and move forward and help you tune the system. So once you connect us to your public clouds, to your AWS accounts, to your Azure subscriptions and so on, we will go and we will scan your clouds and locate the data storing services that are out there. You don't need to point us and tell us, I want you to scan this S3 bucket, I want you to scan these two databases. You could do that, but first we will go and we will scan everything and figure out what data stores do you have. Databases, volumes, virtual machines, storage accounts. We go and we scan and we find those services. Next, we will go and we will analyze two things. Number one, the data on these services. Understand whether it is sensitive data, non-sensitive data, or what types of information? Is it PCI or whatever? And do you care about this type of information? Yes or no? The second thing that we will do is we will go and we will look at those services from the misconfiguration or exposure perspective, and figure out all of these bad configurations, all of these mistakes, or all of these excessive permissions that were granted, so that we can calculate that and understand whether that specific data store is at some risk, whether it's a data loss risk or a data theft risk or just exposure of your data. We're looking into all of these. Last, once we have all of that information, we will go and we will check that information against our set of insights and predefined policies to give you that understanding of what is the risk for your data, to go over everything that you have, prioritize those risks for you, and present to you all of the information that you need. And we'll look at that as part of the demo in a few minutes. Now, more importantly than what we do is also how we do that. One of the biggest challenges that our customers have voiced is the fact that, well, we are scanning their most sensitive data, which is out there in the public cloud. Taking that information out of their cloud or out of their accounts in order to scan that is a big challenge, both from a security perspective, because this is, well, it goes against any regulatory compliance guideline, but also it introduces latency and extra costs into the system. So our first line of business was, let's scan that data inside the customer account and avoid those issues. What we do is, once you onboard Zscaler, we provide you with the template for the DSPM scanner. You deploy that inside your account. It does not work as an agent, meaning it does not connect to your virtual machines. It does not impact the performance of the VMs or the databases or anything else. It runs as a standalone service, and then the entire thing is completely controlled by you as a customer. Everything that you've configured, whatever you asked us to scan, monitor, or do, goes into that scanner from the data or the DSPM portal. All of the configurations go here, and then that scanner goes, it reads the files, it reads the database tables, and it does local scanning and classification within the customer account. And then last, only the metadata of the findings go back outside of your account and into the DSPM portal for reporting, meaning that if we've detected a file with certain credit card numbers, for example, or financial information, we will notify the user that we found this file in this path, and we detected PCI and we detected credit card numbers, and there are 4 of these, but we will not be actually moving the raw information outside the customer account, which is super important. So once we've established what is DSPM and how we operate, the first business flow that we would like to walk through is, okay, I have deployed DSPM. What is my data situation? Where is my data? What types of data do I have? What services is it running on, and what geography? And that's the first flow that users are looking to start with. The starting point for that is our auto discovery or auto classification, meaning that out of the box we come with dozens and dozens of predefined engines and document type and AI-based classifications, and we run these over your data. We will not necessarily alert based on that because you did not configure that yet, but we will scan through everything. Once we've done that, you can go into our dashboard and take a look at the data discovery side of things, understanding which types of data reside in your cloud, what are the data types, and if you would like to learn more about that, then you can click through and understand what types of records we found in there, where is your data? Did we find these medical records everywhere? The answer is no. We've seen that in storage buckets. We've seen those in virtual machines, but we did not find any medical data stored on your databases, which is important. We can also show you the data region side of things, giving you clarity into where your data resides. You can go through that view, or you can go through the data region flow and figure out where your data is. If you're a European company and you want to make sure that your entire sensitive data stays within the Europe Union, then that would be one view. You can of course set up a policy and get that as a notification, but that would be one view where you can take that and detect those anomalies. Now, the next step is, once I've understood the breakdown of the data, I may wish to go and drill down and look at specific data stores and understand what's on these data stores. So here's an example for an EC2 instance, a virtual machine. The first thing that you will see about that is a visualization or a simplification of the posture and the information that we know about that virtual machine. So we can see the EC2 is in here in the middle. We can see that it is publicly exposed to the internet. We can see that it has 2 volumes with these types of data that were detected in that. And there is 1 user and 29 services who can access that virtual machine. There are some vulnerabilities here, and if I will scroll down, I will see those breakdowns here, and I can learn more about that. And there is tons more information. I can also figure out what is my sensitive data that is stored over there. If I'm interested in a deeper level than just these breakdown by engines that we found and where we found them, you could click on that sensitive data and get the complete information as to which files were detected in which path, what types of engines were detected in there, what is the classification for that file, and so on. So you get the complete granularity of everything that we have found inside your cloud. Now you can understand where your data is, what types of services it's running on, and the next question that you will be asking is, okay, now that I get all of that, what is the risk to my data? What are the challenges? What is the risk of me losing that data, or somebody hacking it, stealing my information, and so on? Your entry point for this is similar. You would go at our dashboard, and this time you will be focusing on the risk side of things. Now, there are multiple widgets that are showing you different slicing and dicing of the information. We will focus now on the top risky data stores that we're showing here. Now, here we're trying to highlight the top issues that you need to take care of. If you have just 2 hours today and you want to fix something and reduce the risk for your organization, please go in here, take the top one from the list and handle that. So why did we decide that this is critical and we put that in here on the list? So if you click through, you will learn that we're looking at 2 aspects when it comes to determining the risk algorithm for that. The first one is, what is the likelihood of something bad happening, right? If my data is stored there and it is publicly exposed, or some external users have access to that, or I have used risky credentials, or be the reason what it may, all of these make the likelihood higher, make it more likely that something would happen to my data because it is potentially not backed up, or any other reason for that. So that's the likelihood side of the risk. Then we look at the potential impact. If this actually happens, if somebody takes advantage of these posture issues, what will I be losing? And here we're looking at the sensitivity of the data and the volume of the data that resides on that data store. Now we take these pieces of information, the likelihood and the impact, we push those into our risk algorithm, and that is what helps us prioritize these on top of other issues that you may have. And now if you want to reduce the risk, you need to go and handle these 4 alerts. Let's take a look at what an alert looks like inside DSPM. So when you go and investigate an alert, again, you will see that visualization of what is going on. What is this alert all about? I'm going to pause for a second and explain why we invested so much into making everything look simple. And the reason is that there are multiple users to our tool, and those data protection or InfoSec teams are not always cloud savvy. They know the cloud, but not always to the level of that cloud architect that they need to talk to later on in order to fix the issues and handle them. So in order to allow them to make that conversation, allow that discussion between two teams where one side is more cloud savvy and less security oriented and the other part is super security knowledgeable but less cloud knowledgeable. Now we are allowing for that conversation through giving all of the information, both made simple but using the terminology that is part of the cloud, thus allowing for that conversation. So this alert is about this S3 bucket, a storage solution in the cloud. It has sensitive data, as we can see here, and it can be accessed by 10 EC2 instances that are publicly exposed and vulnerable. We see all of that in here. And we can understand that from the alert description and the details, and we can see the details for that EC2 if we want to know a little bit more. But we would like to further investigate. So first thing is I would like to understand, okay, what are these EC2 instances that can access that? So by clicking on that, I'm gonna now be able to browse through those EC2 instances one by one, get their details, or get a summary of all of them. Once I've seen this EC2 instance, I know that it is carrying some vulnerabilities. By scrolling down, I'll be able to take a look at those vulnerabilities, figure out which packages they reside on, whether there is a solution or there is no solution for those vulnerabilities, understand whether I would like to resolve that through removing those packages, updating them, or what be it. Now that I understand the vulnerability state, I'm reminded that, you know, this EC2 instance is not just vulnerable, it's also publicly exposed. Let's try and understand that a little bit further. So by going into the investigation path, I can click on the public exposure path and get the visualization of, this time this is my virtual machine on the right, and this is the access from the internet, and I can figure out pretty easily that there is an internet gateway on my way, there is a load balancer. I can click on them and get all of the details, but I am focusing on this security group where I see this exclamation mark highlighting that there is an issue with that one. Clicking on that security group is going to shift me to the context of that, show me the details that we know about that security group, and if I scroll a little bit, you will realize that the root cause for this entire public exposure is this inbound rule within the security group, which is configured to allow remote access or external access from the internet. I can click on that, take a look at the rule, and share all of that information with my cloud architect in order to remove that potential risk from my system. At the same time, if you recall, that virtual machine had access to my S3 bucket for that lateral movement that allowed stealing that information. If I'm going to go through the path selection again and look at the access path, this time, again, we're simplifying the super complex permission model inside the public cloud, and we're showing you that that EC2 is associated with this instance profile through that role and allowing it to use these 3 policies, all of which grant it access to this storage bucket with the sensitive information. Again, I can click through all of these, I can get more details, I can talk to my peers that are overseeing the cloud, and help me in removing those potential issues. So in the alert, I can see all of these paths, I can understand all of these details, I can take a look at the sensitive data like I've seen before, and then when I decide that I would like to remediate that, in most cases, we can also provide guidance as to how you can solve the issue, what should you be doing, and we're providing that information both for your console user or your code or CLI user that can go and immediately implement that those best practices or guidelines in order to reduce the risk and remove that alert, have it resolved. Once we completed that part of risk understanding, now we know where our data is, we know what risk it is facing. The next challenge is basically operationalizing all of that, understanding how I can take that and bring that to resolution within the ecosystem that I have in my organization. So first and foremost, in order to do that, you get our list of predefined DSPM posture policies, so data posture policies. All of them are correlated, all of them are smart. We're not just looking at a single open port to give you the information, but we are targeted at interesting attack scenarios that are either more popular, more likely to happen, but also on the extreme cases when we're looking at more complicated attack vectors that can be used. Not only for the bad hacker, we're also focused on potential data loss to user based on user mistakes or issues. If somebody accidentally deleted a super valuable information which was not backed up or does not have versioning, then that data is lost for me, and I may incur the cost for that, regardless if it went to a hacker or I lost it on my own. So we have predefined policies covering all of these and strongly tuned to not give you false alerts or a lot of noise, but rather focus on the stuff that matters. Even with that, some of our customers are saying, you know what, I would like to build my own, or I would like to take your policy and add that extra nuance to it, tune it to my needs. With DSPM, we allow the users to write any policy with the language that we use. They can see the logic behind our policies, they can optimize them, they can create the same policies in their system. Everything is fully customizable and fully transparent to everyone. Once we've gotten through that, we have an alert in our system, and the next thing is now I would like to get that to these cloud architects or to these IT guys or to my developers who are going to resolve those issues. To that, we have automatic integration with ITSM tools like ServiceNow, like Jira, Slack, which is less of an ITSM tool, but used a lot in some of the development organizations where they are more agile. You can set a notification and we can open tickets automatically for those cases. Not just open them, but also update them. If later on we go and we detect that the issue was resolved, we could potentially close that ticket or add more details as we are seeing updates or changes to the configuration. And of course, we are providing access directly from that ITSM system. There is an embedded link, a deep link that takes you to the DSPM, showing you all of that information. The other side of operationalizing it is tying it into your SIM or SOC system. And with that as well, we have developed a fully flexible export mechanism that allows you to push the information out and use it in any common SIM solution out there. Both the formats that we use and the methodology of export are standard and allow for direct connector from all of these systems. And of course, on top of our alerting, we're also pushing the MITRE attack techniques, and all of the information relates to that in case you would like to build your dashboards based on MITRE. So we've talked about understanding your data, then understanding the risk for your data, then resolving that. These are the three main use cases that we see with the system. And to conclude this, just a few pointers from what we've talked about in the last 30 minutes. Zscaler approach to DSPM is a holistic one. We relate to the public cloud as another layer that requires data protection, just like we protect that at the email, just like we protect that at the web, just like we protect that at the endpoint, and in your SaaS solutions and in the CASB. Data protection in the public cloud is another layer. In order to allow you to hit the ground running, we come out of the box with all of your classification, everything that you've used before in other Zscaler data protection solutions is going to be there. If you're a novice user, we come out of the box with a set of classifications, both AI-based and custom-based, that let you classify the data, and all you need to do is connect us to your system. We will do the automatic classification. We will run the base policies for you, and we will provide you with those smart insights, and we will share that in a way that allows your team to communicate with other teams in order to get to the resolution, track that, and use the complete set of business flows that you have inside your enterprise. If you would like to learn more about that, please contact your sales rep or go directly to www.zscaler.com/DSPM and learn more information about that. I would like to thank you very much for your time and hope this was useful.